Vice President J.D. Vance is expected to speak at today's March for Life, where thousands of pro-lifers in Washington, D.C. will make their voices heard.
The Trump administration is facing some pressure, however, from pro-lifers. For instance, the president recently spoke on the Hyde Amendment, which restricts most government funding for most abortions during the House Republicans' annual policy retreat.
The president's proposal to help secure a health care deal seemed to ruffle some feathers among the pro-life side. Let's watch.
Let the money go in the healthcare account or however you do it. Let the money go directly to the people. Now, you have to be a little flexible on Hyde. You know that. You got to be a little flexible. You got to work something. You got to use ingenuity. You got to work. We're all big fans of everything, but you got to be flexible. You have to have flexibility.
On a more positive note for pro-lifers, the Daily Wire reported that the Trump administration was ending the use of human fetal tissue in federally funded research. NIH Director Jay Bhattacharya said in a statement Thursday, quote, "This decision is about advancing science by investing in breakthrough technologies more capable of modeling human health and disease."
Another point of contention is the state of Louisiana's lawsuit against the FDA in 2025 to prevent mifepristone, or the so-called abortion pill, from being mailed within its borders. President Biden enacted a policy that allowed women within states that ban or limit abortion to gain access to the pill. The Trump administration has not reversed those regulations. Planned Parenthood acknowledges that mifepristone is safe, legal, and has been used by more than 7.5 million people since the FDA approved it a little over 25 years ago.
Pro-life organization Live Action released a white paper and video investigation this week. The organization alleges that Planned Parenthood isn't following safety measures and highlights the dangers of the pill.
Now, Planned Parenthood responded to the report, telling Fox News Digital in part, quote, "In accordance with Planned Parenthood Federation of America's medical standards and guidelines, which are developed and updated with medical experts across the field of sexual and reproductive health care using rigorous scientific evidence," quote, "providers at Planned Parenthood health centers explain the associated risks and benefits to patients seeking medication abortion, just as they do with every healthcare service provided."
Joining us now to discuss all these issues is Lila Rose, founder and president of Live Action. Lila, welcome to Rising. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So let me start with a broader question, and then maybe we can get into some of the minutia of these recent policies regarding abortion and Planned Parenthood. Donald Trump, obviously, when running for president, was sort of moderate on the abortion issue, I think especially compared to his first term. From the pro-life standpoint, do you feel that the administration perhaps has been not as accommodating to the pro-life movement that really supported him, and has that been a source of contention?
So I think with any administration, there's wins and losses, and we've seen some wins that we've celebrated in this second Trump term. We've seen the pardoning of pro-life prisoners last year. We saw Planned Parenthood, the biggest abortion corporation, ending the lives of over 300,000 children every single year. We saw them defunded of federal taxpayer dollars for 1 year. Those were huge wins. There's more wins we need to see, though, and that's what we're urging, not just Congress for what they can do, but the administration for what it can accomplish. We're urging that the abortion pill, which is a lethal drug that lands 1 out of every 22 women in the emergency room, gives 1 out of every 10 women severe health side effects. We're urging that the FDA pull the abortion pill from the market. It does not belong in the market. So there are still wins that we are urging the administration to make.
Donald Trump told House Republicans that they need to be flexible in the soundbite we heard on the Hyde Amendment. Do you see that as pragmatic politics, or is that a complete betrayal of the pro-life movement?
I mean, if by flexible, President Trump means that pro-lifers should and the country should abandon Hyde, which is a law that has saved millions of lives. It's a nonpartisan law that's been supported by both Democrats and Republicans in the past. It prevents taxpayer funding from directly paying for abortions, procedures that end the lives of innocent babies. To back away from that law in any way, shape, or form, it's been in place for decades, would be a tragic error. It would be I would say a fatal mistake for the administration and the GOP to make. So I don't think that they're going to actually back away from Hyde, because in a follow-up press conference, Caroline Leavitt press secretary for Donald Trump said, listen, we've had an executive order to protect Hyde and indicated that there's strong support for Hyde. But if the administration changes course on that, obviously the pro-life movement will be very upset. And I think it will very much damage their work, the Republican Party's work in the midterm. So we're urging both parties to embrace Hyde, but certainly the Republicans cannot abandon Hyde.
Now, recently, the administration came under fire for abandoning a lawsuit that Planned Parenthood filed and the ACLU filed because the administration had revoked some federal grants that they said were being used to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. The administration sort of suggested that they thought they were going to lose the lawsuit and that it would prevent future regulatory action against Planned Parenthood. We heard yesterday that some affiliates of Planned Parenthood are now rejecting the restored grants because of new DEI-related regulatory action that are required to follow if they were to take that money. What is your take on the overall sort of politics surrounding this lawsuit and where the administration has landed at this point?
Yes, well, the administration cannot back down. I mean, of course, Planned Parenthood is going to sue them for federal money. They want dollars. They're a almost $2 billion corporation. They're the leading abortion corporation, the biggest political lobbyist group for abortion globally. And they're going to sue for every dollar because they want money. I mean, that's what they're motivated by, their ideology and then financial motivation. So, yes, they're going to sue them, but they still need to fight the lawsuits. I mean, the Trump administration needs to have the posture of protecting life and of rejecting taxpayer funding for abortion and abortion providers. And so what we're looking to see from the administration now is ensuring that no Title X money goes to Planned Parenthood. And there have been indications from the administration they're going to make sure this happens. And so they're preparing, their policy for that, but it needs to happen now. So we applaud the removal of federal funds to pay through Medicaid to Planned Parenthood, but Title X needs to go too. So that's something that we're calling on the administration to do.
Past polls have shown that younger voters overwhelmingly support abortion access. So, what is the pro-life movement doing to, I guess, persuade those voters, or are you guys relying solely on the power of the courts and the Republican administration?
So our first focus at Live Action, my organization, we're the educational leader globally for the pro-life movement, is to change hearts and minds. And hearts and minds are changing, including and especially among Gen Z. I actually recent poll came out in just the last year that showed that support for abortion, the legalization of abortion, actually nosedived by 14 percentage points in the last 2 years since Dobbs v. Jackson. So actually, Gen Z Americans are moving away from support for legal abortion, and this is a trend that I believe will continue. And I think it's because there's really a spiritual and a moral awakening among younger people today. They're really, I think, burnt out by the ideology that life is all about me, abortion on demand. I get to have sex without consequences, and sex is separate from marriage. It's not a big deal. Abortion's not a big deal. People I think are burnt out on that. It's really an anti-life message. It's not inspiring. It's not loving. And instead, I think there is a conversion process happening where people are saying, hey, actually, abortion kills a baby. It's wrong. And actually, sex is something that is more precious than a hookup. It belongs in marriage. And we should be focused on family and love and commitment, not what the culture is pushing on us. And so I think that is a winning message. And I think a lot of Gen Z is responding to that.
Lila, I'd like you to preview a bit of the March for Life for us. Obviously, Vice President J.D. Vance making another appearance for a speech this year. Are there any other big guests that we should expect? And what are you hoping to hear from Vance?
Yes, well, I think it's great that the vice president wants to come to the March for Life. And in the past, President Trump has addressed the March for Life. I think that's really good. They want to stand for life, at least, publicly at the march. And we've seen some good pro-life policy from the administration, but we need actions more than words, of course. And right now, there is still Title X money going to Planned Parenthood. Right now, the abortion pill is still on the market. There's not even a single doctor's visit that's required in order to go and get a mail order abortion. Not even a doctor's visit in person. You just can do a quick appointment online, and it's a completely broken system. There's children dying because of it. There's women who are being harmed. So I'm very welcome, the vice president to speak out for life, and I would urge the administration to take strong action on in defense of human life.
Lila Rose, thank you so much for joining us. Try to stay warm today.
You got it. Snowmageddon's not here yet, so thank you, ladies.
All right, thank you so much. Former First Lady Michelle Obama is clarifying comments she made about why she thinks the country is not ready for a female president. We'll be right back.